Islam. In Islam, the concept of the Day of Judgment called Qiyamah. This day marks the end of the world where every soul will be resurrected and judged by Allah for their deeds on earth. The Quran details signs of the approaching Qiyamah, dividing them into minor and major. Minor signs include moral decline and natural disasters, while major signs include the appearance of the Dajjal or Antichrist, the descent of Isa or Jesus, and the rising of the sun from the west. Muslims believe that after judgment, souls will enter either paradise or hell based on their actions. The narrative is rich with imagery of cosmic upheaval, serving both as a warning and as a reminder of divine justice. Christianity's end times are intricately described in the book of Revelation, depicting the final battle between good and evil, the return of Jesus Christ, and the judgment of the living and the dead. This period, known as the eschaton, includes the rapture, where believers are taken to heaven, followed by tribulation and the emergence of the Antichrist. Christ's return marks the defeat of evil, the final judgment, and the establishment of a new heaven and earth. Christians view this as a time of ultimate justice and the fulfillment of God's promise to humanity, with eternal life for the faithful. Hindu eschatology is cyclical, involving the continuous process of creation, preservation, and dissolution within the universe, known as the yugas. Currently, it is believed we are in the Kali Yuga, the final and darkest age characterized by vice and moral decay. The end of Kali Yuga will usher in a period of destruction, both cleansing and renewing the world, followed by the return to Satya Yuga, the age of truth and righteousness. This cycle emphasizes the eternal, ongoing nature of the cosmos, where end times signify not an absolute end, but a transition to a new beginning. Buddhism. Buddhism's focus is less on cosmic end times and more on the cyclical nature of suffering, samsara, and the pursuit of enlightenment, nirvana. However, it does speak of the decline of the Buddha's teachings over time, a period known as the Dharma ending age, which precedes the arrival of Maitreya, the future Buddha. Maitreya's coming will renew the understanding and practice of the Dharma, leading to a golden age of enlightenment. This perspective highlights the importance of spiritual renewal and moral integrity over cataclysmic end times. Zoroastrianism. Zoroastrianism presents a dualistic battle between good, Ahura Mazda, and evil, Angra Mainyu, culminating in a final confrontation where good will triumph. The world will undergo a purifying fire and the dead will be resurrected for judgment. Those who have led righteous lives will enter the house of song, a paradise, while the wicked will be purified and redeemed. This eschatology underscores the importance of moral choices and the eventual restoration of purity to the world. The Millerites, a 19th century Christian sect, predicted the second coming of Christ specifically for October 22, 1844. This event, known as the Great Disappointment when Christ did not return, led to the Adventist movement. The Millerites' interpretation of biblical prophecy emphasized the imminence of the end times and the necessity of preparation for Christ's return. Despite the failed prophecy, the legacy of the Millerites persists in the emphasis on living in readiness for the end times among Adventist groups. Judaism's eschatological expectations center around the coming of the Messiah and the eventual redemption and restoration of Israel. This Messianic age is envisioned as a time of peace, justice, and prosperity, not only for the Jewish people, but for all humanity. The world will recognize the God of Israel as the one true God. The dead will be resurrected, and Jerusalem will stand as the spiritual and moral center of the world. Unlike apocalyptic visions that focus on destruction, Judaism emphasizes transformation and renewal, with the world being perfected under the sovereignty of God. Sikhism's eschatology does not dwell on the end of the world in a catastrophic sense. Instead, it focuses on the cycle of birth and rebirth and the importance of living a life aligned with God's will to escape this cycle. The ultimate goal is to achieve union with God, which is considered the true end of a soul's journey. Sikh teachings emphasize ethical living, community service, and devotion to God as the means to end the cycle of rebirth and merge with the divine essence. Shinto, the indigenous faith of Japan, does not have a unified doctrine of eschatology as found in monotheistic religions. It is more concerned with maintaining harmony between humans, nature, and the kami, deities or spirits. Ritual purity, respect for the natural world, and ancestor veneration are central. While Shinto rituals and festivals celebrate the cycles of nature and life, there isn't a pronounced focus on a future end of the world or a day of judgment. The continuity and renewal of life are emphasized, reflecting a worldview that is deeply connected to the rhythms of nature. Bahai faith. The Bahai faith anticipates a future age of peace and unity where humanity will finally come together as one people under one God. This vision is not seen as the end of the world, but as the fulfillment of human potential and the culmination of God's plan for humanity. Baha'u'llah, the founder of the Baha'i faith, taught that the coming of age of the human race must be achieved through principles like the oneness of humanity, the elimination of prejudice, and the establishment of a global commonwealth of nations. This eschatological vision is one of hope and transformation, emphasizing progress and unity. Wicca and Neopaganism. Wicca and various neo-pagan paths often celebrate the cyclical nature of life, death, and rebirth, a cycle mirrored in the seasons and the agricultural year. Eschatological beliefs are not a focus in the same way as in Abrahamic faiths. Instead, there is an emphasis on the eternal cycle of nature and the interconnectedness of all life. Some neo-pagan beliefs do include notions of an age of renewal or a return to a more harmonious existence with the earth, reflecting modern ecological concerns and a desire for balance with nature. Rastafarianism. Rastafarianism awaits the return to Africa, which they view as the promised land of the African diaspora. This belief system, originating in Jamaica, combines Old Testament teachings with a reverence for Haile Selassie I, the former emperor of Ethiopia. The eschatology of Rastafarianism involves the end of oppression and the realization of freedom and justice for the African people. While not focusing on the end of the world per se, it emphasizes a significant transformation in the social and spiritual order, leading to peace and righteousness. Jainism Jain eschatology is deeply intertwined with its doctrine of endless cycles of time, Kala Chakra, which are divided into ascending and descending halves. Within these vast cosmic cycles, human moral and physical conditions wax and wane. The current age is considered a time of moral decline, known as the fifth era of the current half cycle, marked by increased suffering and diminished spirituality. Jains believe that every soul has the potential to achieve liberation, moksha, from the cycle of birth, death, and rebirth through rigorous ethical living, nonviolence, and ascetic practices. The end times in Jainism are not about the world's end, but about individual liberation from the cycle of samsara, emphasizing personal responsibility and the power of self-transformation. Confucianism. Confucianism, with its focus on ethics, morality, and social harmony, does not offer a detailed eschatology in the sense of an end of the world. The teachings of Confucius emphasize the importance of righteous behavior, the cultivation of virtue, and the adherence to the way, Tao. The ideal society, according to Confucian thought, is achieved not through divine intervention, but through the moral perfection of individuals and the establishment of just rulership. This worldview is inherently optimistic, focusing on the potential for continuous improvement and harmony in human affairs. Scientology does not have an eschatology that predicts the end of the world in the traditional sense. Founded by L. Ron Hubbard, Scientology teaches that humans are immortal spiritual beings, thetans, trapped by their own mental blockages and past traumas. The goal of Scientology practices is to clear these blockages, achieving a state of clear and ultimately becoming an operating thetan who has full control over one's own existence and can operate independently of the physical body. The focus is on spiritual liberation and empowerment in the present life rather than on a future apocalypse or salvation. Raëlism, a UFO religion founded by Claude Vorilhon, combines elements of science fiction with eschatological predictions. Raëlians believe that life on Earth was scientifically created by a species of extraterrestrials, which they call the Elohim. Raëlism's eschatology is centered around the future return of the Elohim to Earth, which will usher in an era of peace and enlightenment. This anticipated event is seen as a time when humanity will be able to join the interstellar community of civilizations, having achieved a sufficient level of spiritual and scientific development.